I would describe him as like a big teddy bear. He was very tall, like 6'4", like a gentle giant, is what most people would say. He had a huge smile.
When asked to describe Corporal Stephen Ballard, Louise Cummings and her 9-year-old daughter Abigail have very similar sentiments. A name recognized throughout the First State and beyond, 32-year-old Delaware State Police Corporal Stephen Ballard was gunned down in April of 2017 outside of Bear Wawa. News of his shooting death rocked the community. Now here at Troop 2 is where Corporal Ballard unfortunately ended his 8-year career with the Delaware State Police, a place where his wife and colleagues say he was deeply connected to the community. More than 1,000 members of law enforcement traveled from across the country to pay their respects to the Ballard family, and at least another 700 officers from Delaware attended services at the Chase Center on the riverfront. Fast forward to earlier this year, his wife received a surprising phone call from a national organization called Tunnel to Towers.
And they said, we are going to take over your mortgage. And I remember I was in my driveway, I was actually in Stephen's truck, and I just started crying. 4 years later, to have an organization, learn about him and our family, about his story, and to want to just have this generous gift, to give our family. I just couldn't believe it. I was just so happy. It wasn't so much about me, it was more about my daughter, and just the security that she'll have with this house forever.
John Huvane served 21 years with the NYPD before retiring as a detective, and has been with the foundation since 2014.
The holidays are very difficult for some of the survivors. They don't have their loved one with them to enjoy the holiday. So we try to bring a little bit of hope to them, and by letting them know that they never have to pay a mortgage payment again.
Tunnel to Towers was founded to honor the sacrifice of FDNY firefighter Stephen Siller, who laid down his life to save others on September 11th. For 20 years, the foundation has supported our nation's first responders, veterans, and their families by providing these heroes and the families they leave behind with mortgage-free homes. Cummings tells us her late husband had a passion for giving back, something she herself is well known for in the community.
I started a fund at the Delaware Community Foundation. So he died April, I started that December of 2017. And each year we do a big benefit. And so I started that because Stephen always gave back and he loved to help the community. And so I know with him physically not being here, I wanted to be able to create a legacy for him that would go on in perpetuity. So we help different nonprofit organizations. So each year we do a big benefit, we raise money, and then we give a grant to a different nonprofit throughout the state.
On September 17th, the Let Us Do Good Ball will be held in honor of Corporal Ballard. Tickets for the event, hosted by Tunnel to Towers Delmarva, can be purchased on their website. The third annual Tunnel to Towers Delmarva 5K Run and Walk will be held days later on Sunday, September 19th. Further information and registration can be found on their website. Matt Ford, DETV News.
Thanks, Matt. In other news, there was a scary start to the week as a train carrying cars partially derailed along the B&O tracks in Ellesmere Monday. The train traveling east along a curve just before the Route 100 bridge had two of its boxcars come off the tracks. One was leaning diagonally over the B&O lane, while the other fell onto the mostly industrial road. The extent of the damage to the cargo is unknown. Crews were left to figure out how they would get the leaning boxcar back on the track. Have you recently purchased ready-to-eat chicken Tyson products? You should know the Delaware Division of Public Health announced this week the first state has one confirmed case of listeria associated with a multi-state outbreak and recall of the chicken products. Listeria can cause severe illnesses when the bacteria spreads beyond the stomach. Pregnant women, those 65 years or older, and people with weakened immune systems are at higher risk. The frozen, fully cooked chicken products subject to the recall were produced between December 26, 2020 and April 13th of 2021 and have the number ESTP 7089 on the bag. Pictures of the recalled labels can be found on the U.S. Department of Agriculture website shown here on your screen. Consumers are advised to throw the products away or return them to the place of purchase. A popular member of the TikTok community was fatally shot in Wilmington this week. Matima Miller, known online as Suave, was shot in Southbridge on Monday. Hours after Miller's death, many on the internet reacted with sadness, saying the dancing TikTok star had been shot and killed even before police identified him as the victim. Miller's TikTok account has more than 2.6 million followers, with his Instagram account having more than 370,000 followers. Police responded to the 700 block of Elbert Place in Southbridge and found 19-year-old Miller shot. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Miller's latest TikTok video, posted just hours before his death, has countless comments, many acknowledging his death. His TikTok page featured videos of him dancing and playing paintball. The man accused of killing an Ellesmere manager of a Metro PCS store back in May has been indicted on 41 felony charges. Prosecutors allege Keith Gibson went on a brutal crime spree in Delaware over the course of 3 weeks, leaving 2 dead and 4 others injured. Gibson is also a suspect in multiple murders committed in Pennsylvania earlier this year, including that of his own mother. Gibson is accused of shooting Leslie Ruiz Basilio during a robbery at the Metro store on May 15th. On June 5th, Gibson allegedly shot and killed Ronald Wright, 42, during a street robbery. Gibson, who previously spent 13 years in jail for manslaughter, had been jailed for parole violations and was released from custody on April 27th, just 2 weeks before Basilio's murder. He is currently in custody awaiting trial. Stay with us, there's more news ahead.
Millions manage their benefits online, so they can do what they want offline. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of threatening calls from telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. These calls are not from us. Hang up and report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Delaware State University finalized the acquisition of Wesley College in downtown Dover. DSU President Tony Allen called the purchase a historic moment, noting the university is the first historically Black college or university in the nation to acquire another college. The process took more than a year and means DSU will acquire 50 acres of land, 21 buildings, and 14 academic programs. More than 77% of former Wesley students have elected to stay under the DSU banner at a significant tuition cost savings. More than 60% of faculty and staff were offered jobs at DSU. A group of Wesley professors unsuccessfully tried to stop the acquisition, but that lawsuit continues. Plans for the campus include expansion of the nursing program and moving the university's early college high school to downtown Dover. The Delaware Department of Education is offering a number of free programs to families this summer designed to help prepare students for the fall. The programs include reading apps with thousands of free titles, on-demand math lessons, and one-on-one tutoring. In addition, districts and charter schools are offering many free programs, allowing every public school student in Delaware access to summer acceleration programs. All that, according to Susan Bunting, Delaware's Secretary of Education. For more information, check out the website seen on your screen. Speaking of time spent learning, how much screen time is healthy for children? Here with that answer and more is DETV health correspondent Donnie Beaujolais-Smith.
How much screen time is too much? If you're like me, my cell phone sends me a report every week telling me of what seems like truly outrageous behavior on my part. I honestly feel shocked that I spend so much time on my phone. It made me wonder, if managing my screen time as an adult is difficult, I can only imagine the effects of excessive screen time on our children. Earlier this year, the American Academy of Pediatrics updated their guidelines regarding screen time. For years, they recommended no more than 2 hours for children and teenagers, no screen time at all for babies under the age of 2. That guidance has since been updated to recognize that technology has integrated itself into all aspects of daily life, making it close to impossible for parents to police a strict 2-hour maximum. Ms. LaShonda Wooten, a parent and a second-grade teacher at Carey Downey Elementary who is going into her 22nd year of teaching, gave me insight into the pros and cons of technology in school-age children. But she also makes an important suggestion on how we can right-set the trend before the consequences get too extreme.
I think some of the positive things about them having cell phones or just integrating technology into our everyday coursework is that they're able to access more things, right? When it comes to reading, when it comes to writing, when it comes to literature. So it makes them more accessible, and when we're giving them assignments and they're able to use those different tools. I do like that aspect of it, and I'm able to differentiate a little bit more. So if I have a student that is on one level in comparison to someone else who might be on an upper level, I can kind of differentiate my lessons and put that and provide that for them online for screen time. That can be with any coursework, with my science, with my social studies, any curriculum. I think some things that are negative in regards to that, I actually wrote some things down. So let's go over this. There are 24 hours in a day, right? We often spend 7 to 9 hours asleep. 4 hours and 44 minutes on our screens for 8-year-olds to 12-year-olds. 7 hours and 22 minutes for 13 and above. And we spend 21 minutes reading per day, and on average, 14 minutes exercising. So one thing I can say for us as adults to do, be a model. So my phone is here, but oftentimes when I come home, I turn it off. I put it down, and I have a conversation with my daughters. My final words that I would like to offer as an educator and as a mother, if we can just spend more time together. Just having conversations, jokes, maybe cooking, cooking out, take out your coloring books, take out your regular games. And some things, if they're not broken, why do we have to fix them?
For parents wanting to put a plan in place, the Academy of Pediatrics has a few additional suggestions. 1, utilize parental controls. Almost all devices have settings that allow you to set restrictions on certain apps and screen time. 2, establish reasonable limits. After a year of virtual learning, being suddenly too restrictive is unfair and unrealistic. 3, make screen time mindful, not mindless. Ensure the content that you're viewing has a learning application. It is not simply all games and cartoons. 4, engage with your child's screen time. A great way to ensure the content is meaningful and the amount of time is reasonable is to engage with your child when they are online. There are plenty of joint activities available. 5, model healthy behavior. Ms. Wooten said it all. If you do nothing else, the best thing you can do for your child is to show them that you too can put the screen down. While change can be hard, especially after a year that required many of us to use devices to stay connected to school, work, and each other, the net outcome of stronger families, improved communication, and healthier children is 100% worth it. I'm Donnie Bougely-Smith. This is your Health and Wellness Report for the week. I'll see you next time. Back to you, Lauren.
Wilmington-based developer Buccini Poland Group and BPGS Construction announced the grand opening of a newly constructed 3-story office building on Silverside Road in North Wilmington.
It's very rare that buildings like this get built in Delaware, but they certainly don't get built in the middle of a global pandemic. And the courage when you're at the bottom of the trough and it's very dark and you're looking up and you don't see any sunlight, and you have a governor who says, have the construction guys keep working, have them keep having a job. These are insanely difficult decisions to make when you don't have the playbook. And that's when you see what's in people's gut.
The building in the former Concord Plaza was built in just over a year during the COVID pandemic. Amenities include 3 kitchen areas, a cafe, a fitness center, and a patio with TV, ping pong tables, and foosball. A company called Marlette Holdings will occupy most of the building, bringing back employees after more than a year of working from home. BPG purchased the Concord Plaza in 2003 and in 2016 launched a mixed-use redevelopment project that includes restaurants, luxury apartments, and high-end retail. Moving to southern Newcastle County now, more than 220 acres of salt marshes and farmland in Middletown were preserved this week when County Executive Matt Meyer signed a partnership with the Delaware Wildlands to purchase and set aside the land. Known as the Fortner Farm, the property has 100 acres of critical habitat and 100 acres of farmland. The county contributed half of the purchase price at $1.2 million, which allowed Delaware Wildlands to acquire the land along Port Penn Road. Delaware Wildlands is a nonprofit organization that manages more than 22,000 acres of preserved land in the state. Well, there's good news for dog owners. A new bark park opened this week. The 1-acre fenced park is located on River Road in Bellefonte and was made possible by $50,000 in state bond bill assistance from State Representative Deborah Heffernan.
You know, we didn't have a dog park this side of Bellefonte. It's really great to have this amenity in this area for people, for dogs. It has shade, it's big. I'm so excited.
The park is split in 2 sections for the pooches, one side for larger dogs and the other side for smaller dogs. The park also contains a mulched area for dogs to run and agility equipment for training. Now, here with local sports is Nick Alessandrini. Nick?
Thanks, Lauren. Another busy week of sports here in Delaware. We got our Grail Sports Basketball Summer League underway. We had a few decisions, a baseball call-up, and a WNBA All-Star. And we'll begin with Benijah Laney, who was named a WNBA All-Star for the first time in her career this year. She averaged over 19.5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists for the New York Liberty, and again was named to her first All-Star appearance. Laney was coming off a season back in 2020 where she was named first-team All-Defense and Most Improved Player. And if you remember, Benijah Laney was our 2011 Smyrna Basketball Player of the Year. If you want to catch Benijah in the All-Star game, you can check it out on ESPN on July 17th. At 7 p.m. Delaware native and Maryland guard Eric Ayala has decided to return to College Park next season. He led the Terps in scoring last year, averaging just over 15 points a game, and he'll decide to return for 1 more year. He said he talked to his mom about that decision, and they came to the conclusion that 1 more year of school would be the best way to go. Now over to some Delaware player news. We'll start with Middletown football guard Cody Harris Miller, who back on July 4th announced his commitment to Army. The football guard will be heading to West Point to further his football career. And then over to Delaware Baseball Player of the Year, Lorenzo Carrier. He has decided to withdraw his name from the 2021 MLB Draft. Carrier was ranked 101 out of Baseball America's top 500 prospects. Will decide to honor his commitment and go play at the University of Miami with the Hurricanes next year. The Salem Red Sox have called up Brandon Walter, the former Hodson alumni, was drafted out of the University of Delaware back in 2019 in the 26th round. He was the first call-up for the Salem Red Sox this season. And as I mentioned earlier, our Grail Sports Basketball Summer League was underway on Tuesday night in our first 2 matchups of the season. We had Emotep, the Panthers, traveled down from Philly to take on Salesianum, and that's where we'll begin first. And we'll pick this one up 0-0 early in the first half. It's going to be Brandon Buffone for the Sal's. Pull up, elbow jumper, got it to go. 2-0 Sally's early in this one. Next possession, Isaiah Hinson going to pull up from 3, knock that one down. 5-0 early Sally's against Emotep. Then a little bit later on, Emotep's big fella Chad Anglin would get in with the baby hook, and then followed by a Brett O'Hara going to take it in transition, use the spin off the glass, and get 2 more. Sal's up 13-7. A little bit later on in the first half, 43-38, as you're going to see a cutting Darion Williams for 2, but it wouldn't be enough as the Emotep Panthers come down from Philly. They're able to hold on for a 49-43 victory over Salesianum. Brett O'Hara did lead the way for the Sal's. He finished with 15 points. And that takes us to our other second leg of our doubleheader here last night at the Grail Sports Summer League. It was Howard taking on Archbishop Carroll, who also made the trip down from Radnor, Pennsylvania. And we'll start early in this one. It's 10-8 when Darius Brown able to knock down the 3 from that left corner. 11-10 Howard on top. Then a little bit later on, 18-13, it's RJ Matthews in transition, going to take it in, lay it off the glass. Howard up 3 with 3 seconds left in the first half when Darius Brown does it again, going to steal the impound, lay it in at the buzzer. Howard leading at the half. Then late in the second half, Howard down 3. RJ Matthews step back 3 on the side pocket right there, ties it up at 61. Then with 44 seconds to go on the inbound, Howard a chance to take the lead. Darius Brown gets it, lays it in for 2, and that would be the deciding bucket. They inbound cleanly there, 63-61. Howard able to hold on and get the victory over Archbishop Carroll. And that'll do it for our recap of Tuesday's Summer League games. Remember, more at the Grail Sports Complex tonight if you want to go check those out. But that's all we have for this week. Now back to Lauren.
Thanks, Nick. No, you're not seeing double. There are 2 signs touting Dolly's Candyland in the first block of Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk for now. The landmark 35-foot-long Dolly's sign is still on the roof of the now empty candy store on the boardwalk, where it was placed in the early 1960s. But now a brighter, similar-looking, smaller sign has been erected on the building of Dolly's new Rehoboth Avenue location, which is only 50 feet away from the old one. Enjoy the twins while you can. This is the last summer the larger iconic marker of the beloved Delaware business that's been around since 1927 will grace Rehoboth's skyline. Earlier this year, Dolly's owner decided to move the candy store from its prime spot on the boardwalk after his cousin, who owns the building, increased the rent. He said the sign might be relocated to a new production facility he is building or possibly donated to a museum. The annual Delaware State Fair is officially coming back in full force after COVID forced it to limit activities last summer. The Kent and Sussex County Fair hosts more than 300,000 visitors every year. There's something for everyone, with games and food and vendors, concerts, carnivals, and even a demolition derby. Some headline performers this year include Southern rock band 38 Special and country star Tracy Byrd, among many other performers. The fair in Harrington begins July 22nd at noon and ends on July 31st at 11 p.m. Admission is $9 for adults, but the concert events need separate tickets. You could also buy a 5-day gate pass that allows you to beat all the lines. A Philadelphia program that allows EBT card holders to visit art institutions at a discounted rate has expanded to Delaware. Access Philly is the brainchild of ArtReach, a 35-year-old Philly nonprofit focused on making arts accessible to more people. This includes helping people with disabilities and those living in low-income communities to visit museums, theaters, public gardens, and other cultural institutions. Access Delaware allows anyone with a state EBT card to pay just $2 when they visit over 10 museums and gardens in the Wilmington area, with 3 guests at that rate. Participating institutions include Nemours, Winterthur, Hagley, and Longwood Gardens. There are no blackout dates or times, and people can go as many times as they want. Some institutions still require advanced reservations due to COVID-19. Funding from the Delaware Division of Arts and the Delaware Humanities Council makes the program possible. For additional information, head to artreach.org. County Executive Matt Meyer joined a group of doctors from the Nemours A.I. DuPont Hospital for Children for a medical mission to West Africa. The trip is the 3rd similar mission arranged by the Delaware Africa Caribbean Coalition. The goal is to help reduce infant mortality rates in Gambia by working with healthcare and community workers. Meyer used his personal funds for the trip. Up next, a look at the weekend weather forecast, so stay tuned. Looking for something special for your teens? The Wilmington Police Department will once again host a free 2-week program for children ages 13 through 17 that aims to foster stronger police community relationships. The WPD Youth Police Academy will be held at the Police Athletic League in Wilmington. Teens learn about police procedures and the challenges and responsibilities of police work during the mock academy. Activities include lectures, role-playing, field trips, and more. Anyone with questions about the program can check out the contact information on your screen. And the Wilmington Riverfront now has 2 options to choose from if you're in the mood for Mexican food. Taco Grande, a new restaurant and tequila bar from the Big Fish Restaurant Group, opened in the space that was once home to Joe's Crab Shack. For now, the restaurant will open for dinner only Tuesdays through Sundays. Big Fish, which operates 18 restaurants in the state, is citing worker shortages like many restaurants nationwide. The National Restaurant Association reports staffing levels at U.S. restaurants remain well below pre-pandemic readings, with only 4 states in the country seeing a rebound. Sadly, Delaware is not among them. Well, those green tickets we all know and love are back at Rehoboth's Funland. Starting today, Funland will resume offering ride admission with tickets instead of a pandemic-mandated time admission system. Last July, Funland dropped the tickets and switched to a 2-hour reservation block system. 17 rides are currently open, with just 2 rides being closed due to physical distancing concerns. That wraps up this week's report. I'm Lauren Wilson. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
DETV News is brought to you by DART, Delaware Public Transit Service,